Hi all, this is Dr. Sage Breslin and this is Wisdom Wednesdays. Have you ever seen a woman who was really powerful and engaged in a way that just made you really wonder, like, how does she do that? How does she possibly bring it like that? How is she such a badass? And oftentimes I think we wonder, like, how does she have a warrior spirit? Is that's what is going on? And I want to really speak to that because it's a lot of what I do. So, that warrior spirit, what I'd like to call the wise warrior archetype. We see these women who can engage at a level, who can perform at a level that seem to have this unstoppable energy, that are playing their edge ad infinitum, and who never seem to tire. Well, you might wonder, what is their secret? How do they do that? And if they're a wise warrior, the secret is they may just be really plugged into their divine source. They may be an old soul. And an old soul woman who happens to be a wise warrior type is getting all of that energy from a space and source that is greater than herself. Now, not all women who perform at that level and who bring it in that warrior persona are old soul women, or even if they are, they may not be plugging into something greater. They may actually be burning themselves out by trying to use their own personal energy to fuel all of that high performance. And obviously that's going to come with some drawbacks. The biggest drawback that is commonly known is that they burn out. You can't just do it and 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 expect that you're going to be able to continue to refuel yourself that way. You might be able to do it when you're 20. We have more energy at 20. But the further you get away from 20, the less capable you're going to be able to do that. Imagine if you pulled all-nighters in college, right? The first or second or even third time you do it, it's fine. You sleep it off in a day, you go back to being your old self. Then maybe in your 30s when you have kids, you pull those all-nighters with a new baby, but it gets old pretty fast. And then imagine trying at work maybe to pull several all-nighters to get a project done, and you feel like crap afterwards, right? It doesn't just take a night of good sleep. It takes a week or two or a month to get yourself back on track again. And again, those are the signs of burnout. Those are the signs that as a woman, we're trying to pretend we have that level of testosterone. Testosterone can fuel that kind of behavior and performance, at least for a while. But for women, we're just burning the candle at both ends. So we don't want to do that. The second drawback is that when we women walk in with that warrior stance, especially when we walk into not just battle, right, but walk into more of an old boy network or more of a space where our workday requires that we are dealing with men all the time, even if they're wonderful men. Many women who kind of pull in that warrior persona, they sort of join the club by being a warrior too. Again, neat idea, especially if it works. But a woman who is doing that for long periods of time begins to sort of burn away the feminine self. And the feminine self for a woman is really important. It doesn't matter how feminine you want to appear or how feminine you want to portray or live. It matters that you use your estrogen, right? And that you be mindful that you're not, pumping testosterone through your veins. So in that case, we really want to see if you are in fact a wise warrior. if you're a wise warrior archetype, you'll plug into the divine and you will pump through you, not testosterone, but the warrior spirit, the divine warrior spirit. And that warrior spirit will be a wise warrior spirit. The wise warrior is an advocate and might be an adversary. The wise warrior will go at it until something is done. The wise warrior doesn't give up. The wise warrior often find themselves in the law or in work fields that demand advocacy for others, who really, they feel a level of empathy and I would hope compassion as well, but they really believe in justice is what it comes down to. And that is a winning combination if that wise warrior archetype is truly an archetype, is truly a core self that is connecting to the divine and really has been placed here to serve in that role. But if a woman is stepping into a warrior persona in that field and not connected to a core warrior, wise warrior spirit, they're gonna burn out. They're going to do the job well until they die on the vine doing it. The other thing is, when women step into that role of warrior, they can become targeted by toxic men, toxic others, toxic narcissists who see them as good game. And imagine if a toxic narcissist or sociopath sees this person who seems to have it all, seems to be powerful, seems to be playing their edge. Well, the toxic narcissist will say, you think you've got an edge? All right, I'm going to subordinate you. I'm going to beat you. I'm going to win. I'm going to win over you. And there have been several books written about folks who power over others. And in that case, a wise warrior, is going to be able to sort of fend off. But somebody who's just stepping into a warrior persona, somebody who's wearing it like a coat, not coming from within, is eventually going to be beaten. And unfortunately, when you're beaten in that way, when you are subordinated and you're in warrior mode, it can feel like death. It can really be hard. Even a wise warrior who's connected to the divine, who meets a toxic narcissist and is subordinated, fails their mission to overcome, can simply feel like there is no way out. And it takes a lot of rehabbing and sort of bringing that soul back in and reactivating the core and really pumping it back up so that it can play on its edge again. So you may wonder, am I a wise warrior? Have I been putting on a warrior coat? Or am I a wise warrior archetype? Is that my archetype? So if you're interested in finding out if you're a wise warrior or maybe one of the other 4 archetypes, well, then I'm going to leave you a link to my quiz, the Old Soul Woman quiz, in the comments so that you can take this very quick quiz and find out what archetype are you. And you can find out if that's a fit. How do you keep yourself operating at optimal performance? How do you embody that old soul woman and whatever archetype you are in your very optimum so you can be the best version of yourself? So my wisdom for the day is know who you are at the core, because that really helps when you're trying to map out your journey ahead. So this is Dr. Sage Breslin, and this is Wisdom Wednesdays.